Guess who's back with another video that only family members and lonely broke photographers are going to watch? Me. It's me. Spending money that I don't have so you don't have to. Today we're going to take a look at a camera that has single-handedly taken over my social media advertising slots. Yes, instead of mirrorless, DSLR, and old film cameras, this little son of a has been popping up in my timeline every 4 ads. It's in my YouTube shorts and my Instagram reels, and I swear to God it popped up in one of my dreams, so they're just beaming this information straight to my head like that Futurama episode. And while I like to think of myself as immune to the social media advertising machine, I am not immune to cheap cameras. And at only $65, including shipping and waiting for a week, the CampSnap camera was mine. Now, the marketing for this thing is all over the place. I've seen it advertised as for kids, for photographers, for new photographers, for travelers, vloggers. It's very much down the line of being a disposable camera, and that's what attracted me to it. My first impressions of the build quality on this thing is that it's pretty cheaply made. It's made of hard plastic, it has an easily fogged up viewfinder, there's no screen on the back, and no way to review your photos. Not to mention that there's a little speaker on the back that plays an annoying fake shutter sound every time you take a picture. To get rid of that shutter sound, I just threw a little piece of duct tape over the back of my camera. I guess you can open these things up and just unplug the speaker. I just wish they hadn't installed it in the first place. But overall, at 65 bucks, it's pretty much exactly what I expected it to be. I like everyday carry cameras, and because I'm in the Sony ecosystem already, I don't want to have to invest in something like a Ricoh or a Fuji, especially with the price tags on those things. As a matter of fact, I carry an old Canon A3000 as my daily shooter, and I've gotten great results with it despite it only being 10 megapixels. And with the CampSnap camera coming in at around 8 megapixels, I didn't have high hopes for this thing. I kind of thought CampSnap might be trying to tap into the nostalgia factor that's been going around a lot lately, and kind of thought it was more of a novelty item than anything because it's just a $65 price tag on this thing. It is pretty much a digital disposable without the disposable part. The focus is really soft when it comes to this camera, and you have no idea where that focus is going to be because your option is to point and shoot. Now, all of these photos I'm about to show you are shot straight out of camera, out of the box. I applied no effects in Photoshop, Lightroom, didn't download any of their filters. This is just as is from the camera, aside from fixing the crop on a few of them. I wanted to give you an accurate representation of the things that this camera can do, or what it could be used for. It kind of struggles with low and bright light, more so when those things are right next to each other. Say if you're shooting from inside a dark room into a well-lit outside, you have no idea how that's going to turn out, and it's probably not going to be good. But it kind of has a vibe to it, and I understand why they call it a digital disposable. I can imagine hipsters really loving this thing, and probably getting some decent results from it. I like that there's no screen because it makes you focus on your composition in camera instead of trying to fix it later in an editing program. And it's tiny so it can fit right into your pocket, which already scores major points with me, with cameras being as bulky as they are now. It would be great for road trips and something you don't have to be absolutely terrified of losing. I know if I was on a road trip and lost my Sony, I'd be losing my mind, but if I lost this thing, I'm only out 70 bucks tops. Or it's just something cheap that you can give the kids to shoot with on vacation. Or you can put it in situations you wouldn't normally put your other expensive cameras into. It's not a camera for photographers who are trying to make money with their work. You aren't selling these photos to anybody. I would probably use this thing on a road trip or a camping adventure and love every second of it. I can also see it being a great learning tool that you could use for composition exercises. And yeah, I could shoot stuff on my phone, but I'm tired of filling my phone up and having to go through and delete a bunch of things because there's 4 billion pictures of the same thing from a slightly different angle. With this thing, it comes preloaded with a micro SD card, and you can fill this thing with like 500 photos before it fills up. I don't know, I haven't filled it yet. It's built to be used and abused with absolutely no option besides flash yes, flash no, flash auto, and take a picture. Those are your only options with this camera. This is the most point and shoot to ever point and shoot. Those are your options to point and shoot. Flash yes, flash no. If you're watching this, you're probably a beginning photographer or somebody looking for a cheap camera to take on a kayak trip so you don't ruin your iPhone when Sarah paddles the wrong way and flips the kayak at the most inopportune time. And I'm not singing all praises for this camera either. I wish it had a bigger sensor in it, because even those cheap little digital cameras on Amazon have higher resolution than this CampSnap camera that's 65 bucks. The sad thing is, I actually really like the aesthetics of this camera, even if it is just a hunk of plastic with a sensor and a lens crammed in it. The way it handles color and light really does remind me of old disposable cameras, and I'm all about that. I think CampSnap has a really cool and unique concept with these cameras. And it's incredibly popular based on the fact that they're always sold out of these things. I think what CampSnap should do with these is create different models of them, some with higher resolution, with the same exact concept, and they would have many more sales. Not saying they're not selling a ton right now, because they obviously are, but they could tap into a whole new market if they had a higher resolution on these. I have heard that they're making a mini version of these, and I'm not sure what that entails, but I'm kind of interested in finding out. I'm not sure how much more mini it can get. Another complaint that I have about these is that the shutter can be slow to respond to the button, and you do have a buffer time before you can shoot another photo. It's not long, but it's long enough to worry about. I also want to reiterate very clearly that this speaker sucks, and CampSnap should remove it. It's been the #1 complaint I've seen from everybody online across Reddit, Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever you call it, Instagram. The biggest complaint is the speaker in these things. So please just listen to your customer base. Overall, do I like the CampSnap camera? For personal use, yes. I can see myself shooting with this thing on road trips and vacations and places I can't take the Sony, but that's only until I can find something that has a higher resolution within my budget. I would love a Ricoh or a Fuji, but those are not in my budget right now. And although the CampSnap is fun to shoot with, the resolution is an issue for anybody who's trying to make money from their work. And I think that's who CampSnap is targeting with this, is the people who just take photos to keep the memories. The CampSnap camera is more of a memory capturing camera than a, oh, look at this totally awesome picture I shot camera. And I think that's kind of cool. You know, when you're looking for an old photo album and you see these really cool pictures from back in the day that are slightly out of focus, or the lighting's not great, or they use the wrong film with the wrong camera. This is the modern day version of those photo albums. The marketing team at CampSnap definitely deserves a raise, by the way. If someone from CampSnap is watching this, please give them one. And also please sponsor a video for me so I can take this to Hocking Hills and send you some epic pictures to post on your Instagram and social media accounts.